In a world where demi-humans are slaves, one man believed everyone deserved kindness. Humans hated him for it, and when he was summoned as a hero, the gods looked away. No legendary stats, no divine blessing, just a merchant thrown into a demon forest to disappear. But fate miscalculated. This is Banaza, the failure even gods can't measure. Our story begins in a world where demi-humans are slaves of humans. Our protagonist Banaza is nice to the demi-humans, but Banaza is hated by the humans because of it. Even the demi-humans warn Banaza about being kind to them, but Banaza insists. Banaza wishes that everyone to get along, but not many feel the same way. Just then Banaza gets summoned to another world, where Banaza is told that he is a hero candidate. Now Banaza is in the magical kingdom of Clyrode, and they're in the middle of a prolonged battle against the demon army. The kingdom has been summoning potential heroes from other worlds, in the hopes that they will fight the demon army for them. The first course of action is to assess Banaza's skills. In exchange for returning to level 1 after being summoned to their world, candidates receive divine blessings from their gods. These are powers that no ordinary person can acquire simply by training. It is called divine revelation. Banaza is able to read their language, but everyone is horrified when the display shows that Banaza did not receive divine revelation. His stats are simply that of an ordinary person. This is incredibly disappointing, and the summoners deemed this a failure. Banaza tried to tell them that he was just an ordinary merchant, so now he asked that they simply send him home. Just then everyone is amazed at a different candidate, as they state that someone has appeared, who possessed the powers worthy of the legendary hero. Everyone runs to this guy, as all his stats are level 999. They assumed him their savior, and they beg that he fight for them. Banaza would just like to go home, but his words go unheard. Banaza tries to think of a way to have them send him home, but the king is busy declaring that the blonde guy will be their hero. Sometime later Banaza gets tossed into a carriage and taken away. A look back to just a moment ago. The king tells Banaza that his summoning gate is closed, and they can't send him home. The kingdom acknowledges that it's their fault, so they will compensate. Instead of simply getting rid of him, they will allow him to live in the Delavisa forest in the north, where Banaza can live out the rest of his life. The only condition is that he does not tell anyone about the mistake they made. On the way there, Banaza's driver explains that he is not allowed to speak to him. Banaza is very nice though, and Banaza is able to get the guy to talk. He reveals that in this country, it doesn't matter if you're a human or a demi-humans, they're all treated equally. Banaza thinks about how things were not looking so good at first. He has the worst stats. He's being forced to live in the forest, and some demon army is threatening humanity. However, Banaza won't be looked down upon anymore, so he begins to think that this world might not be so bad. It takes 20 whole days for them to reach the forest. When they do, Banaza is given a bottomless bag that has enough money and food to last them for a while. The driver warns that the demon army lurks around in this forest, so if Banaza wants to live, then he encourages Banaza to get away from there as fast as possible. When alone, Banaza takes a sword from his inventory and notices some slime nearby. They look similar to the ones from his old world, so he assumes that they won't attack him. Banaza is very wrong though, so Banaza defends himself. Banaza manages to survive the attack, but his cheap weapon has already begun to fall apart. Just then a notification reveals that he just reached level 2. His stats look different from before, but Banaza is confused by the strange symbol that has replaced the numbers. Banaza turns on voice notifications, so the voice tells him that Banaza has acquired some magic spells. He will be able to activate them without opening any windows, and Banaza is shocked by all the spells he acquired. Just then an alert reveals that a monster lure spell was placed on the bottomless bag he was given. This monster lure is definitely why the slime attacked him. Also, considering that the weapon he was given was practically useless, Banaza determines that the kingdom was setting him up to die. The voice would like to know if Banaza wants to remove the lure spell, so Banaza does, and Banaza thinks, why do they use magic that is so easy to get rid of? Banaza goes to look for a safe spot to take shelter, but the notification stops him. It reveals that the forest has a very high concentration of malicium. It's a generic term for liquids or gases emitted by demons. It causes serious harm to humans, so the voice wants to know if Banaza intends to purify the forest. Our protagonist Banaza thinks it is a good idea, if that's something the system can do, especially if he will have to live in the forest. The system explains that it will consume 1/3 of his magic, but Banaza figures that he is so powerless that it doesn't matter. Banaza is shocked though when the purification spell activates, and it ends up being a flashy display of magic. Just then the notifications go crazy, as Banaza levels up several times. Back at the castle, the princess points out how terrible it was to send Banaza to the forest, especially since everything was all their fault. The worst part about it is that the demon army has set up their base in the Delavisa forest. The king couldn't care less, as he just calls Banaza a useless piece of trash, unfit to be their hero. Just then the king is urgently told that someone just used the highest holy magic of all, purification. The king is amazed that the blonde hero was able to acquire such high-level holy magic already, but king is shocked when he is told that it is not him. The blonde hero has headed south, but the purification spell was used in the forest to the north. Back with our boy Banaza, he finds that he has leveled up all the way to level 367. He didn't even eliminate any monsters, so Banaza determines that in this world, you can level up just by using magic. What's even more confusing to him is that the strange symbol is still showing up next to his stats. This is all a lot to take in, so Banaza decides to hide the level up notifications. Banaza checks to see how much magic he has left, and Banaza is surprised to see that it has been fully restored in seconds, instead of thinking he has some amazing skills. Banaza assumes that his magic capacity is just terrible. Banaza worries that he might still be in danger, as he assumes that his magic is so weak that it didn't purify the forest that well. Banaza is banned from living in the town, so the system recommends that he use shape-shifting magic. This would allow him to go unnoticed, so Banaza gives it a try. Banaza tries to change gender, but regrets it pretty quickly and changes to something better suited for him. Then the system recommends him to use teleportation magic, so Banaza teleports into the city. In his old world, teleportation was a spell the only really powerful sorcerers could use, so Banaza assumes that this world is different and everyone can use it here. The clever Banaza tries to teleport himself to his old world, but it doesn't work. Then Banaza looks for a guild so he can make some money. Registering as a merchant might be difficult since he is so new, so Banaza hopes to find an adventurer's guild. That way he can do some monster hunting or transport quests. Luckily his system gives him directions to the guild. When Banaza is there, he is explained that adventurers are assigned ranks based on their accomplishments. They can earn better rewards and accept tougher quests as their rank rises. It's pretty much the same as guilds in his old world, so Banaza decides to register. Banaza can't give his real name though, so Banaza goes with Fleo instead. Fleo wants to make money quickly, but he is too low of a rank to earn very much. Just then Fleo overhears a girl in need of someone who can escort her to the Delavisa forest. Unfortunately, she doesn't have much money to offer, and even worse, there is rumored that the demon army has a frontline base in that forest. No one is willing to take her, but she is desperate to help her family that lives near there. Some adventurers shove her aside when they become annoyed, so Fleo offers to take her. She explains that she doesn't have much to offer, but Fleo says it's not a big deal, since he has been there before, and he can just teleport them there. Everyone is shocked to hear him say that Fleo can use teleportation magic, but they don't believe Fleo can use such a rare skill, and they just think he's lying. The clueless Fleo is surprised that it's not a beginner spell, especially since it didn't even use that much of his mana. Just then one of the royal knights named Banaza demands that he get away from the girl. Banaza says Fleo doesn't look like a skilled enough sorcerer to use such an advanced spell, so she is suspicious of him. Her group is just as skeptical, and they all accuse him of planning to do something devious. Fleo realizes that he can't afford to cause any suspicion, so Fleo offers to take them all with them. They go somewhere hidden so Fleo can use teleportation, but Banaza warns him not to try anything funny. Fleo instantly teleports them, and they are shocked. Teleportation alone is already unbelievable, but Fleo is able to take them far away. They wonder if Fleo is a great sorcerer of the highest order, but Fleo just tells them that he's a rookie adventurer who can use a bit of magic. They all apologize for treating him so poorly, but Fleo is just glad that they aren't suspicious of him anymore. Just then the young girl notices that the forest isn't uncovered by a thick layer of militium anymore. Fleo prepares to tell her what he did, but his system warns that it's dangerous to inform a demon about him using purification magic. Fleo is confused by the mention of a demon, but Banaza and her group aim their weapons at the little girl. The guild has been suspicious of her, so Banaza demands that she show them her true form. The little girl acts terrified at first, but soon she shocks everyone when she reveals her true self. Her name is Fenris, younger sister of Fengaril of the Infernal Four. She releases enough militium to bring all the girls to their knees, and Banaza is shocked, as she wasn't expecting the girl to be a demon related to the Infernal Four. Fenris is impressed to see that Fleo is unaffected by Malicium, so she decides to leave him for last. Fleo manages to save Banaza, but he knows that he won't be able to run away himself, while still protecting the 4 girls. Fleo commands his ability to teleport all the girls away, and he impresses himself when it actually works. Fleo doesn't know why he was chosen to come here, but Fleo refuses to be eliminated before he gets to do anything in this new world. Fleo decides to stand up and fight, so Fleo prepares to try out every single spell he has. And that's where today's episode ends. Banaza, now known as Fleo, finally decides to fight. But can Fleo defeat a demon head-on? Next time, the weakest hero unleashes magic no one was meant to have. Before you go, friends, we've started a membership program for true fans, where you'll get early access to videos, exclusive recaps, and shout-outs in our uploads. Check the link in the description if you'd like to join the family. If you enjoyed this recap, drop a like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss what happens next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.